Hello and welcome today to our presentation, Chapter 3, Rule of Project Management for the PMP examinations, passing with success. So today we're going to be looking on the main rule of the project management and how he plays a critical role in the opposition of managing projects, right, and how becoming a leadership, right, for directing and assisting the team members. So when we look onto the project management, right, we say that project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques in order to meet the customer requirements, right? So he plays a very important role in leadership skills, right? He should be able to assist and direct the project teams in order how to achieve the project objectives. Now, when we discussed about project objectives, right, in our chapter 1 previous session, right, we talked about that project management, he has many challenges, such as meeting a customer demand, such as balancing the scope between the time, the budget, the scope, the quality, the resource, the risks that are associated to the project, right? Adapting specification, making sure that what is the tailored solution, it meets the customer requirement, which he has demanded for. Project management, right, he needs to make sure that he's going to transfer the ideas set by the top executives for strategic objectives, right, to transform them into the project goals. Okay, he needs as well to help in improving the organization performance by delivering the projects on time, meeting the customer demand. Okay, so as well, the project management, he has, as we say, wild in a mile and one deep inch. He needs to know knowledge about how the team they operate into, whether he has a business analyst, whether he has a system analyst, right? He needs to know what are the case development that produced by the business analyst, use cases, right? As well, how to manage multiple projects, operations, or programs that are different, right, from each other, which we call them as a portfolio. Okay, so the project management, okay, he works a very important part in tailoring a solution on how to deliver projects that will it will at the end hit into the strategic objectives of the project. So when we look on a comparison in between the project management and a maestro in a who's conducting an orchestra. Now, if we look onto the two differences in between them, you will find that most of the rules of the conductor or the maestro, right, is similar to the project management rule. So the conductor is actually applying the rules that are set by the PMI, the similar ways, right, using the standards. Okay. So when we look onto the membership and the rules, right, for a conductor, so you'll find that the conductor comprises up of many teams and that they could range up to 100 musicians. Similarly, we do have in a project management, in a engineering, industrial, software, or in pharmaceuticals, or in medical project managers, they as well, they have teams, right? And they vary in according to the numbers, could be 100 project members, okay, led by a project management. The musicians, right, they can play up to 25 different kinds of instruments, such as the string, the woods, the percussion, the brass. Similar right here, the project management and team members, right, they have different roles to fulfill: design, manufacturing, facility, and management. There is a team lead who manages the propositions on the rules of the team members. Similarly, in the project, for large project, we have a team leader as well who directs and manages those teams. Responsibility of the team. So when you look into the conductor of a large orchestra, right, so he's being responsible team to produce orchestra concert, right? So we have a certain concert, right, a national concert, let's say, for example. So again, the maestro and his team, right, they have to achieve that strategic objective, which is the providing a ceremony for a national, okay, a ceremony, right? Similar right here in a large project with a software engineering, so they are being responsible for part of the team to produce a project outcome. Now, in the conductor or the maestro, they need to have a holistic view of their team, okay? How they're going to plan, how they're going to coordinate and complete them. Similarly, in a project management, in a business industry, he needs as well to have a holistic view, right? In order how he's going to plan to produce a product, okay, a service, a result, how he's going to coordinate with his team, how to communicate with them. So the leaders are being reviewing the vision, the mission, and the objectives as well into the project management who is in an organization. Okay, leader they establish the interpretation of the vision, the mission, and the objectives, right, in completing a product. Similar right here in a business industry as well, they need to accomplish the business vision. Okay, now the leadership right here, the project management in a conductor and a customer, again he motivates his team, right? Energize them by giving them rewards. Similarly, right here in the project management in a business industry, in whether engineering or as in software technologies, right, or any sort of business industries, as well, he needs to motivate his team, right, by giving them brand recognitions, right, in order to energize them to get the work done. When we look on the other part, which is the knowledge and skills, you will find that the conductor in large orchestra, okay, the conductor is not expected to play all the instrument, but he has knowledge on how the brass work, how the percussion works, right, how the flute operates. Similarly, the project management in a software industry, he knows every piece of resource working into the project, his rule, whether an analyst, a designer, a developer, right, technician if it's in an industry, okay, electric engineers. So he does understand how each rule of the team who are working with him in the project, what is the rule he's conducting it. So the conductor provides orchestra with leadership, planning, and coordination through the communication, right? So the conductor already he has a plan, right, and he leads up the team. He sets a plan, coordinate through communication. Similarly, in a business industry, the project management as well provide the leadership, planning, and coordination. Now, the conductor he has what we call the written communication in form of a musical scores and practice schedule, right? So he does have, okay, the document that he uses in order to play up the song, right, or to play the instruments that he's going to be using, how it's going to be operating, okay, and the how he's going to present the music propositions being given. Similarly, the project manager, he has a communication document, plans and scheduled communication that communicates along with the team, okay. So the conductor also, right, he might communicate with the team by using a pattern and other right body movement, and we call it facial expressions, right, physical mannerism, okay, and that covers 55% of physical mannerisms, right, and 35% are distributed onto the paralingual, okay, the pitch and the tone of the voice and the communication of the language. Similarly, in the project management operating in the business industry, using his physical mannerism as well, using the non-verbal communications, right, the paralingual communication, okay, and as well the wording that's being used. Now, when we look on to the project management sphere of influence, you will find that the project management, he cooperates with a large scale of resources and stakeholders. So the project management, he needs to communicate with project teams, with other practice managers, resource management, sponsors who provide the fundings, government bodies, steering committee, PMOs, right, stakeholders, supplier, customer, and is yours. That's in the biggest sphere. So the project management, he performs, right, 90% of communication, right, and coordination with the whole stakeholders involved in the project. So the project management sphere of influence, right, it has numerous rules within the sphere of influence, okay. The project management shows that since he's communicating to the large number of stakeholders, that means he has capabilities, he has skills, okay, and the representation of value, contribution to project management profession, okay. The project manager is the person who leads the team to meet the project objective and their expectations, okay. He balanced the competence, as was said, as part of the objectives to come to to balance in between the scope, the budget, which is again, it's the constraints that factors limits the project from getting delivered. The project management performs communication with the whole stakeholders from the sphere of influence that we have just reviewed in a couple of minutes, right? Project management, he is the person which has to get interpersonal skills. He must have a consensus on making certain decisions, right? He should be able to be a convenient person that convince the stakeholders of the solutions that it will fit and will be tailored and according to their needs. Okay, he needs as well to make sure that he's developing a fine-tuned skills by multiple methods using verbal, formal written and non-verbal communications, maintain and hire communication plans and schedule. He should be able to communicate predictably and consistently, always a status with a progress report, status report in a monthly period, progress report in bi-weekly, and the focus report, okay, after the status stating what is going to be delivered. As well, he needs to deliver a trend report stating whether his project is progressing or deprogressing, right, based on the schedule variance, cost variance, the CPI, the SPI. Okay, seeking to understand as well the communications, right, that what is need to be delivered and when it's going to be delivered and what to be completed. Okay, so the communication from the project management, it needs to be very concise, very simple, okay, and incorporate feedback channels. You should be able always to ask the audience or the stakeholders whether the communication is communicated. He should be expecting to get a feedback of understanding what has been communicated and what has been said, and to reconfirm onto it. Okay, so project management as well, he should be able to maintain relationship. He has to get a network, right, maintained with other project managements, with sponsors, with stakeholders, right, and should be able to maintain and consider important persons such as relationship with subject matter experts and influence leaders. He should be always using formal and informal communication throughout the projects, right, and any issues that should be communicated to resolve. So, rule of the project manager toward the organization. The project manager, he needs to interact with other project managers, and it does happen in many projects and we have managed, right, is that we need to cooperate with other project management in the sharing of the resources in between us and distributing them on his projects and my projects. Okay, so demand of the same resources, priorities of the funding, receipt and distribution of deliverables, alignment of project goals. So this is the by communication that happens in between the project managers, in between each others, right? Again, the project management should be interacting with other project management to give a positive influence, right? Whether from the human, from the technical, from the financial resources, okay? Should be always the project management to have relationship, right, with the goals of the backshop objectives of the project, okay? You should have an advocacy rule with the organization, okay? Interact with other managers during the course of your project, okay? As well, you need to work with the project sponsor in order to produce the strategic goals that has been aligned, and as well to produce the quality achieved throughout the projects. This was the simple introduction of the rule of project management. We do provide as well the whole full course, right, whenever you need to get engaged, right, with Softec Lake Course of Academy. We are always there, right, advocating for that courses, and hope to see you in other sessions or with the full access to the presentations, right, as well with solving questions by intervening through our with Softec Academy or Softec Lake, and I will be your coach tutor. Make sure you get the PMP certified. It has been a great pleasure, and it's always my pleasure. Thank you very much.